This is an introduction video to the MoviChip MAF CAL. So we're assuming that you've installed the product, wired it into the car, and this is the first time that you open the app. The first thing to do is to go to settings of the phone, go to Bluetooth, switch on the Bluetooth and pair your phone with the MAF CAL unit that's in the engine bay. Only when we've done that should we then go into the app. We can press BT on the app, Bluetooth. We select the name of the Bluetooth module from the Bluetooth list. It's usually going to be 1B, but it's going to be related to the version of the software that you've got and the product that you've been sent. And then it is connected, the app is connected to the device in the engine bay. So the first thing to do is go to Diagnostics, and we just want to see that everything is receiving a signal and the signal is being sent out. So we're looking at MAF fault in, MAF fault out, we're looking at the duty, the target adjustments. These numbers are not all updating at the same time, so don't worry if the difference between the actual and target adjustment is large. It's just because they're being updated at different times. It takes around 3 seconds for all of these fields, these figures to get updated. We're just looking for some reasonable numbers in here. Basically, we want MAF in to be reading something, definitely, and MAF fault out to be reading something. MAF fault in, obviously the signal from the MAF sensor. MAF fault out is the signal that the MAF CAL is sending to the engine ECU. So assuming all that is done, we can go to the failsafe function. By default, when you get it, the failsafe function is going to be set to off. You can set it to on or off if you like. Basically, what this does is if the difference between the target adjustment and the actual adjustment is greater than 20%, then the MAF CAL unit will be bypassed and it will connect the MAF signal directly to the engine ECU. When that signal comes back within 20%, then it's going to be reconnected to the MAF CAL, and the engine ECU is going to start receiving the signal from the MAF CAL unit again. And it will do that dynamically. Think about how that works and decide if you want to use it or not. Personally, I'll have it on. There's no real downsides to having it on. We've also got an option then, bypass. So we can manually bypass the MAF CAL if we want. If for some reason we want to test something or just compare something, if we go to bypass on, then the MAF sensor signal will be going directly to the engine ECU. The MAF CAL will be bypassed. If we press off, the engine ECU will be receiving the signal from the MAF CAL. And then failsafe is just an automatic bypass when the adjustments, the difference between the target and the actual adjustments becomes too large. We've got the BOV function at the bottom. Originally, this was put in for people that are using a MAF sensor with an atmospheric BOV. This has always been an experimental function. It really depends on the engine setup, the size of the BOV, how it's being controlled. Really, if there's too many variables to say if it will work for your engine or not, we don't recommend using it, honestly. We are probably going to get rid of this BOV function just because it's so hit and miss depending on the engine setup. The whole point of it was that when you're changing gear, that the engine is not running rich between gear changes. And then we come to the meat and potatoes of the app, the actual adjustments. So across the top, we've got voltage, MAF in voltage is what these numbers are. And then underneath it, we've got a box for the multiplier. You may get this problem with application when you first initially select the box. Just click off the screen, get rid of that, and then it won't come back. So to select the box, we just click on it. And then when we click on it, it will bring up the adjustments that we are using for this MAF in voltage. When you get it out of the box, all these boxes will be at 1. But nevertheless, worth checking. Just go through them all just to check where they're set. When we want to make an adjustment, we just click on the cell that we're interested in. So in this case, 1 volt, and then we can do plus or minus. And this is the multiplier. The 0.95, the 0.96 is the multiplier that we're giving to the MAF signal before we send it to the engine ECU. All these values are interpolated. So for example, we've got 0.5 and 1 volt. If the MAF in voltage is 0.75, the multiplier is going to be interpolated between 1 and 0.95. What we have done recently, we've added this tune function. This is in the diagnostic section. So again, we have to get to the tune function, we have to switch the diagnostic on, and then we go to tune. When we press tune, what that does is it only updates the MAF voltage in value. And what this does is it allows you to do live tuning. Basically, you have the MAF in voltage live here being updated and with a OBD app, or if you've got an Android app with your ECU, you can have that overlaid, your short-term fuel trims or your lambda signal, you can have that overlaid next to your MAF in voltage. Just to finish off, to close the app, we press close. That disconnects the connection between the MAF CAL and the app. And then just to close the app, we just hold close, and that closes the app. That's the video. Look after yourselves, and I'll see you again next time.